All right, good evening, everyone. What's up, Barbara? Good evening. We're gonna. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. If everyone can bring your voices down. Everyone, yeah. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Our evening is starting with a public hearing from our Chief Financial Officer, Charlie Martin. So we're going to start with that before the official meeting begins.
Thank you, Clerk Abeg, member of the governing board, and Dr. Sprout. Tonight I have an update on the district's bonds, overrides, and capital plans. School districts are required in September or October of each year to provide an update on bonds, overrides, and capital plans. And this will be a public hearing, so if there's any questions from the board or the public, we'll have time for that at the end. First, I want to remind everyone what bonds and overrides are. So essentially, bonds and overrides are means by which local voters authorize additional funding for their local school districts. When it comes to bonds, that's funding for major projects that's paid back over time. And when it comes to overrides, that's ongoing funding in addition to the minimum level provided by the state, and that can be for maintenance and operations or capital, so things like salaries and also projects. Both bonds and overrides play an important role in the district's operations and capital plans. I'll start with a quick overview of the district's bonds. Back in November of 2015, district voters approved a bond authority of $42 million. And the governing board has previously approved 3 bond sales to fully utilize this authority. Right now, at the end of last year, there was $13.3 million remaining in the district bond fund. And in November of 2024, voters approved authorization to issue up to 50 million additional bonds over the next 10 years. And the first sale from the new authorization will be later this month. This table shows how the district has used proceeds from the bond authorization that voters gave in 2015. You'll see that all of the spending through June 30th of 2025 totals $26.6 million. And the balance of that $42 million authorization is the $13.3 million that was still in our bond fund at the end of last year. Any spending of bond money is based on the categories approved by voters. And for us, the vast majority has been for construction, acquisition, additions, and improvements to new and existing schools. Some of the major projects that have been supported by the 2015 bond authorization have included construction of Paseo Point, construction of Estrella Foothills Global Academy, the preschool building at Desert Meadows, classroom additions at Levine Leadership Academy, and then also things like the purchase of school buses, Promethean boards, and other technology. And last school year, bond-supported renovations at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy and initial work for school number 10, including pre-construction services, as well as installing secure fencing district-wide. Looking ahead, future bonds will be used mainly for school construction, additions, and improvements. I'll shift now to talk a little bit about the district's overrides. State law defines a base funding level for every school district, and voters are empowered to provide additional support to what is known as the revenue control limit. That can be up to 15% for maintenance and operations, and up to 10% for what's known as district additional assistance or capital purposes, and overrides are funded by local property taxes. Here in Levine, we have both a maintenance and operations and capital override approved by voters. Both the 15% M&O override and the 10% capital override were extended by voters last November. And that means that the 15% M&O override is fully funded through the 29-30 school year. And the district additional assistance or capital override is fully funded through the 2031-2032 school year. State law has slightly different time frames for the different types of overrides. And on the M&O side, if voters don't extend the override, it phases down by 1/3 each year in the subsequent years. But both overrides fully funded through 2029-2030. Last year, the 2 overrides generated $13.3 million of funding for the district. $8 million of that came from the maintenance and operations override, and the other $5.3 million came from the capital or DAA override. The maintenance and operations override allowed the district to provide free full-day kindergarten, supported art, music, PE, and other special area courses, and supported competitive salaries and benefits that allow the district to attract and retain employees. On the capital side, last year, the DAA override supported curriculum and textbooks, improvements to school facilities, and also information technology and instructional materials. I mentioned that the capital or district additional assistance override provided $5.3 million to the district last year, and so I also want to talk a little bit about the state funding that we received for capital. The district received $4 million in what's known as district additional assistance formula funding, which is a state per pupil allocation for capital. We also received $267,000 in building renewal grants. That's project-based funding that the district has to apply for things like HVAC systems, water heaters, and our support services team does a great job maximizing that funding and making sure that we receive it for eligible projects. One thing to note on the district additional assistance funding from the state, while we received $4 million last year, this is a formula that at times has been suspended or only partially funded by the state. And so as recently as the 2018 school year, we received less than $400,000 from that funding source. So the override has been, still is a larger funding source for district capital, and in past years has been even more significant. When it comes to state funding, we're typically directing the ongoing state funding towards things like technology, furniture, equipment, and other ongoing capital needs. One other funding source that we did not receive from the state last year, but that we will benefit from this year, is new school construction funding from the School Facilities Oversight Board. We've been approved for $32 million of funding for Levine Traditional Academy, as well as $5.9 million in funding for the land for that site. And so we'll continue to pursue that for new schools. Finally, I'll wrap up with a quick summary of the district's future capital plans. This is something that we talked a little bit about last year with the 10-year infrastructure plan. And ultimately, our needs over the next 10 years are driven by continued growth in Levine and the 2,000 additional students that we expect to serve over the next 10 years. The district needs to build 2 new schools. We'll need to continue to renovate existing schools to maintain that same standard. And then with all the new students that'll be in the district, we also have some needs here at the Levine Education Center for things like transportation and support services. Fortunately, one thing that we've crossed off the list in the last year is the need to acquire school sites. We now have land for both Levine Traditional Academy and school number 11, which is still a few years down the road. All of those future needs that I mentioned total around $135 million. The vast majority of that is new school construction. And when we look at how we'll be funding those needs, fortunately, we'll continue to pursue state funding for new school construction. I mentioned that we were approved for $32 million for Levine Traditional Academy. We've got about $5.9 million in land, and we'll continue to try to maximize that funding when we look towards school number 11. We also have capital reserves that have been accumulated for things like improvements here at the Levine Education Center. The $13.3 million that's remaining from the 2015 bond authorization, and then of course the bonds that'll be sold later this month. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions from the board or from the public about our bonds, overrides, or long-term capital plans.
Okay, we didn't have any public cards or anything. Well, I appreciate all the information on this. I appreciate the voters who approved all of this on the last ballot, and Charlie and your team for making sure we're wise stewards of that money. And I know we see the impact every day driving around the community, or if you have, many of us like me have kids in the school, and we see the impact of those funds. So I appreciate all of your work on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Probably.
We're just waiting 1 minute to check on the status of another school board member, so give us just a minute. Meeting to order, and we'll start with a roll call. Yeah, here. Here.
What I would recommend is when before we let's have superintendent's report.
A little bit out of order. We're going to start with our superintendent's report, and so I'll turn the time over to Dr. Sprout.
All right, thank you, Governing Board Clerk Abeg, Ms. Anderson. Good evening, everyone. We are going to start tonight with one of our commitments to our employees, and that is to celebrate them. And we have a celebration for our certified staff that is called the Excellence in Education Award. And for our classified staff, we have the Exceptional Service Award. For our administrative staff, we have the Pinnacle of Leadership. And tonight, we will be giving our annual Pinnacle of Leadership Awards. This year, we will be recognizing 8 leaders from what I will say is the best administrative team in Arizona. We aspire to be Levine's community choice for pre-K through 8th grade, and one way we signal that we are the best educational option in Levine is by our schools receiving the A+ School of Excellence Award, which is a total school award, for their leadership in resulting in Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy becoming an A+, and then we're going to add another plus because it's the second time they've received it. Please join me in congratulating Jessica Epax and Bill Stewart. No, we'll do them all together. Next, our next 2 recipients of the Pinnacle of Leadership Award are Francine Tate and Rachel Boyle. We aspire to increasing academic achievement of our students and our schools, and for a dramatic increase in school grade scores from the previous school year. Please join me in congratulating from Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy, Principal Francine Tate and Assistant Principal Rachel Boyle. The next 2 Pinnacle of Leadership Awards focus on stewardship, that we responsibly and sustainably maximize our resources to accomplish the mission and vision of the district. And actually, we're gonna, this person is absent, I'm sorry, but we will go ahead and recognize her. Data analyst, Catherine Crary. So let's give her a round of applause. For her support of student achievement and instructional excellence, including creating school-based data notebooks, leading all major assessment projects, and supporting the selection of the in-class literacy exam and educator effectiveness calculations. Again, our data analyst coordinator, Catherine Crary. Next, our Director of Transportation and guy whose picture does not demonstrate his sweet and caring nature, Eric Kissel. For maintaining what may be the best staffing levels in transportation in Arizona schools, overseeing a team with a high level of professionalism, pursuing and receiving grants in excess of $6 million, and solving complex transportation routing. Bottom line, Eric is there to support our students. Eric Kissel. Now moving into our business team, our Executive Director of Finance, Ashley Miranda. For implementing new financial systems and processes, including InTouch, for digitizing purchase records and the use of Time Clock Plus for leave requests. She is an incredible support to our school administration, and her leadership is unprecedented in financial excellence. Director of Finance, Executive Director of Finance, Ashley Miranda. Purchasing Supervisor, Julie Carson. For exemplifying the highest level of integrity in procurement, ensuring that on a daily basis our staff is supported with the physical tools they need to do their jobs with excellence, for supporting our school administrators, and her professional interactions with vendors, Purchasing Supervisor Julie Carson. Next, Elsa Perez, Executive Assistant to the Superintendent and Governing Board Secretary. The person who runs the district right there just stood up. For her work in solving the complex issues for our district that arise on a daily basis, and her support of all school and department administrators, including myself, as well as our governing board, and for providing wise counsel to the superintendent, executive team, and to all who call on her for assistance. I hear it every day, so thank you, Elsa, and congratulations. Elsa Perez, Executive Assistant to the Superintendent. No, you don't have to come. You can come up here and take pictures if you like.
With your camera, sorry.
Yeah.
Can't be in there.
All right. On Saturday, September 20th, Ebeth Mendoza, Student Success Associate in MC Cash Elementary School, was named a 2025 Arizona Middle Grades Hero of the Year. The award ceremony took place at the Middle Grades Summit at Arizona State University and was presented by Charlene Wells, Senior Vice President of Mountain America Credit Union, and Dr. Robert Kaplinger, President of the Arizona Association for Middle Level Education. Ebeth was nominated by her administration, colleagues, and students for being an unwavering advocate for middle grade students at MC Cash and for playing an integral role in the establishment of initiatives that support the development of young adolescents. Tonight, we are honored to have Ebeth here with us and would like to recognize her for this impressive accomplishment. Ebeth Mendoza. Speaking of MC Cash has been awarded the 21st Century Community Learning Center grant. This 5-year grant will bring free, high-quality, outside-the-school day programming to their students, including academic tutoring and exciting enrichment opportunities like basketball, crochet, jazz, and ballet, theater, yoga, and even Yahtzee. We are thrilled for the positive impact this will have on our students and families. The ELA Adoption Committee officially convened its first meeting on September 25th, 2025. This large and diverse group is composed of 79 stakeholders, including a significant number of our dedicated K-8 teachers who will be instrumental in this process. Their important work will involve the rigorous vetting of a K-8 ELA curriculum, along with resources with the goal of making a recommendation of a new program to the board in the spring of 2026. In September, Paseo Point Dual Language Academy gathered for an assembly to kick off Latin Heritage Month. Highlights included performances by the Cesar Chavez High School Folklorico group, a stunning solo dance by one of our students, and traditional Latin music from our choir and cheer squad. They were also honored to receive a personalized message from Senator Ruben Gallego. Paseo Point Dual Language Academy cheer squad, led by coaches Ms. Martinez and Ms. Perez, brought the energy with a flawless halftime performance at the Cardinals game against the Las Vegas Raiders after only 2 weeks of preparation. And the choir, under the direction of Ms. Leslie Fields, joined school choirs from across the state to perform the national anthem at the Diamondbacks game against the Boston Red Sox, delivering an outstanding performance that proudly represented our district and music department, and the D-backs won that game, by the way. So way to go, Rams. Yeah. The Native American PAC hosted a special evening celebrating family and cultural identity. Families decorated story stones to reflect the history and traditions of their heritage, creating a meaningful way for students and parents to share their stories. The event was a wonderful opportunity to strengthen connections and celebrate the rich diversity of our district community. The English Learner Family Literacy Night was a great success, showcasing the strong partnership between families and staff in supporting student achievement. Families enjoyed interactive literacy stations that built vocabulary, reading strategies, and storytelling skills. Parents appreciated practical strategies they could use at home while students actively engaged in the activities. The event fostered both learning and community, supporting our district's goal of increasing family engagement and strengthening pathways to student success. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work alongside our parent leaders in the Parent Advisory Group, which had its first meeting on September 22nd. The Parent Advisory Group gives me and our team the opportunity to hear insights and receive counsel from parent leaders on important current and future topics. Their input helps guide decisions that strengthen our district and support the success of every student. Together, we're building a brighter future for our community. Thanks to all of our parents and staff who participate in PTOs and booster clubs. I am on a tour of each school's parent organizations and thoroughly enjoying this opportunity to hear from our parents and provide them with updates, as well as giving a Building Future Awards to a member from each school's parent organization. Last week, we held our annual staff vaccine clinic to help our team be healthy and ready to support students. Flu and COVID-19 and boosters were available along with the shingles vaccine for staff over 50. A big thank you to everyone who participated and to the nurses who made the clinic run smoothly. The food distribution program launched in September, serving 178 households and nearly 700 people with over 5,300 pounds of canned goods, fruits, vegetables, bread, and even popcorn. This incredible event is only possible thanks to the many volunteers, including groups from Arizona Lutheran Academy, Core Construction, Global Credit Union, Nothing Bundt Cakes, United and Humana Healthcare organizations, and our own dedicated staff. The next event is October 15th here at the LAC. And now we'll move on with some more celebrations, and that is our Employees of the Month. And we will start with Shelley Norwood Kersey, Behavior Monitor at Levine Leadership Academy. Please come forward. The first thing you notice about Ms. Kersey is her incredible energy. She brightens every room she enters. She plays a vital role in supporting the Levine Leadership Academy students, always seeing the best of them and encourage them to reach their full potential. With her initiative, dedication, and kindness, she goes above and beyond for students and families every single day. Thank you, Ms. Kersey, for your enthusiastic commitment to our school, district, and community. You are making a lasting difference. Shelley Norwood Kersey.
When anyone at Levine Leadership Academy thinks of Miss Kersey, they think of joy. She was always exuding positivity, fun, and a deep passion for students. Regularly, staff members will be meeting, and we hear her coming, and multiple people will go, "Here comes Miss Kersey," with a smile on her face because you can hear her joy from across the school. She is the kind of person you want to be around, and most importantly, that our students want to be around. Mrs. Kersey always lends a helping hand, models teamwork, problem solving, and leads with excellence. She tackles challenges, forms relationships with students, and is ready for any situation with a smile on her face. The students, staff, and community could not be more grateful to have such a passionate, enthusiastic, and joy-filled role model on our campus every day. Thank you, Ms. Kersey.
Our certified employee of the month is sixth grade teacher from Levine Elementary, Jessica Lozano. Now in her 10th year in the district, Ms. Lozano continues to make an incredible impact as team lead, a mentor to new teachers, an instructor on evidence-based reading strategies. Her leadership ensures that not only her own students thrive in reading, but that students across many classrooms benefit as well. She skillfully differentiates instruction to meet the needs of gifted, special education, and English language learners, ensuring every child has the opportunity to succeed. Thank you, Ms. Lozano, for making Levine your home and for the positive difference you bring to so many students and colleagues. Jessica Lozano. Principal Garcia.
I don't have a lot of, oh, good, this is helping. Sorry, excuse my voice. There's not a lot I can say that wasn't already said, but I definitely want to say that this is very well deserved. Ms. Lozano is absolutely a master veteran teacher and such an asset to all of our staff on campus. In addition to all the things that were said, she does have our EL group of students, and they make tremendous growth in her classroom because she is always utilizing such high yield effective strategies and always working to stay up to date on what works for kids. I don't know that I have ever walked into her room or walked by her room and not seen this teacher on her feet actively engaged with kids. She probably puts in like 35,000 steps a day. So very well deserved, and we're so fortunate to have her on our campus.
Let's just go ahead and keep dropping. All right, so we have a group of people in this room that are literally in their 9th week of school of their lives, unless they went to preschool, but they are in kindergarten right now. And without going too far into it, we'll turn it over to Ms. Epax, but we are really excited to have our classroom spotlight with Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, Principal Jessica Epax.
Good evening, Clerk Abeg, Governing Board members, Dr. Sprout, and guests. Before I jump into our classroom spotlight, I just wanted to take an opportunity to recognize our artwork on the back wall over here. And our wonderful art teacher, where is she? Emma Salger. Can we give her a round of applause? And we have various artworks displayed from K-8. Tonight, I'm honored to spotlight one of our kindergarten classrooms led by Ms. Hicks. I want to share how our youngest learners are building the foundation for a lifetime of mathematical thinking. In kindergarten, math is more than just numbers on a page. It's hands-on, interactive, and rooted in exploration. Our students are working towards mastery in mathematics, specifically in base 10 and operations in algebraic thinking. For example, students are learning to add and subtract within 10 by using place value, objects, drawings, and even acting out problems. They clap, use counters, or make quick sketches to show how numbers could be put together or taken apart. What's most exciting is that these standards are not taught in isolation. They come alive in stories, games, and collaborative tasks. Our kindergartners aren't just memorizing facts. They are learning to think like mathematicians. Our students are solving real-world story problems and explaining their thinking in many different ways. This flexibility builds confidence and problem-solving skills that will set the stage for later grades. That's part of what you're going to see tonight. As you watch our spotlight presentation, I hope you see not only the skills being developed, but also the joy and engagement that our children bring to their learning. They've been so patient, doing such a nice job. Let's see. These young students are building a strong foundation that will carry them forward. Thank you for supporting our vital work and celebrating the incredible growth happening in our kindergarten classroom. In a moment, I'm going to invite up Ms. Hicks, who many, many years ago, I won't tell you the year, shared a classroom door. She was then Miss Dawson, and I was then Miss Carano. So it's very exciting to see the path that she's on. So, Ms. Hicks.
Good evening, members of the board. Tonight, I'd like to highlight a lesson from our kindergarten math curriculum. In this lesson, students worked with addition and subtraction through word problems. At first, the problems presented in the lesson are simple stories. For example, Santiago had 3 apples. His dad gave him 2 more. How many apples does Santiago have? Or, Ishami had 5 blocks. She gave 2 to a friend. How many blocks does she have left? While these may sound basic, they represent a powerful shift in how children understand mathematics. This lesson helps them see that addition and subtraction are not separate skills, but related. Students learn that if they can solve an addition problem, they can also think and solve the related subtraction problem. Lesson 16 is an incredibly important lesson. It is the first step for children to begin to see that addition and subtraction are connected and that one can undo the other. And they learn this through stories and real-life contexts. Students had previous lessons on the conceptual understanding of addition and subtraction before learning this lesson. They created story problems through pictures, which set the foundation for them comprehending story problems in the future. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my very patient kindergartners who sat through a whole lot of information that they didn't understand. Okay, so first up, I need to get to the mic, sorry. Neuralia Rachel Ranjith. Mia Camacho. Noah Woodham. Santiago Faniza. Wesley Perez. Sean Mulgary. Pia Pipe. And Ashamvi Garam. These students will break off with some of our board members, and they are going to represent and do a story problem.
This evening, we're going to change things up, and we're going to have 2 of our gentlemen just lead us through as well.
Yeah.
Do you need more staff? You guys, we're good? Okay.
There's 7. There's
All right.
7 there's 7 muffins. There's 7 muffins on the shelf. A lady added 2 more. How many are all together?
What's your last name? Wesley Perez.
There's 9 muffins in the bin on the shelf, and the lady took 2 more out of the bin. And how many are left?
Governing Board members Dr. Sprout and Ms. Perez, if you have not taken an opportunity to share your math story, please do so now. Thank you to the VISTA students, and thank you, Governing Board members. VISTA students, you may grab your paper and return to your seats. All right, guys, we're going to take a picture.
Parents, if you'd like to come get a picture.
Holding it up, just in case. I didn't want him to like fall back and hit.
I want to get a picture.
So first of all, let's give our, I love the word trajectory, and you think about where these students are headed and what they're doing already, what we just got to see tonight, how exciting that is, and to see the trajectory of our students. Let's give our students a huge round of applause for being brave. Also, Ms. Hicks, thank you, and let's a round of applause for her. I have been in her room many times, and it's a wonderful place for children. And thank you to Ms. Pax, the entire Vista staff. Parents, we are so thankful that you're here tonight with your families, and thank you for your support and for partnering with us. We're going to take a break in just 1 second. Let me just point to some of our events coming up. Tomorrow, we will be breaking ground on our 10th school, Levine Traditional Academy. We're very excited about that. Thank you to all our teachers and parents who are doing parent-teacher conferences this week. We do have early release again we start early release tomorrow. We have fall break coming up. Have a safe fall break. Food distribution, as we mentioned, and our next governing board is November 13th. And with that, I will turn it over to Clerk, President for the day, Abig.
All right, I'll just echo what Dr. Sprout said. Thank you so much for sharing your children with us. Seeing the math curriculum in action and seeing them be able to understand that. So thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it and for supporting the schools throughout the community. And so we will take a break right now before we get to the more business part. You're welcome to stay for the business part, or if you'd like to go celebrate, we hope you enjoy. Have a good night. All right. I feel like it's something. All right, to the lucky ones who stay for the business portion, we're going to do the official call to order. Is that a motion? No, okay. And we're going to do roll call. Right. Here? Here?
Here.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and do our Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, and moving on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're going to skip over the superintendent's report. So we need to approve our minutes from the September 11th regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're going to skip over the superintendent. We don't have any call to the public. Great, okay. All right, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. On to our fiscal year 2025 annual financial report. And we'll have Charlie come back up for this one.
All right, good evening again, Clerk Abeg, members of the governing board, and Dr. Sprout. I have a brief summary of our 2024-25 annual financial report tonight. The annual financial report, or AFR, is ultimately a document that summarizes all of our financial activity for the previous school year. As a district, we're required to compile an AFR and have it approved by the governing board and submitted to the Arizona Department of Education by October 15th. And then by November 15th, we're required to publish the report. And the way that we meet that requirement is by providing the report in electronic format to the Department of Education, and then adding a link to our website to enable members of the public to download that report. This is almost the end of our financial reporting for last school year. We're still wrapping up our third-party independent audit, and the results of that and the corresponding compliance questionnaire will be on the agenda at the February board meeting. To give you an idea of where information in the annual financial report goes, the data that we compile and send to the state makes its way to a few different places. First, in January, the Department of Education will publish what's known as the Superintendent's Annual Report, including data for every school district and charter in the state. Data from the state also goes up to the federal government and populates tables for the National Center for Education Statistics. And the data that's underlying, the accounting data that underlies all the information in our annual financial report is sliced and diced a few different ways and goes a few different places, probably the best known of which is the Arizona Auditor General's Annual Classroom Spending Report. Ultimately, all of our financial activity for the year is contained in detailed accounting data, and that detailed accounting data is what populates the tables in the annual financial report. But those tables don't summarize the data in every possible way, so if there's ever questions about specific types of spending or funds that are not individually detailed in the annual financial report, don't hesitate to ask. We can drill down and find detail on just about anything the district does during the year. Looking at the annual financial report document itself, the best big picture look at the district's activity for the 2024-25 school year is on the summary page. That's after page 10 in the report file. And you'll see there that we spent about $110 million total across all funds last school year. Individual pages of the AFR will then provide more detail and additional information about certain funds that the district utilizes. And I'll provide a summary of some of the highlights from those funds and be happy to answer any questions afterwards. First, the Maintenance and Operations Fund, which is where the majority of district activity is accounted for, is detailed on page 2. Last year, we spent $60.7 million from the M&O fund, and that was an increase of about $4.5 million over the previous school year. Part of the reason for that increase, which is a little bit bigger than we'd see in a normal year-to-year change, is that federal ESSER funding went away after the 23-24 school year, and so there were certain district positions that moved into the M&O fund that were previously funded by federal sources. When it comes to the Maintenance and Operations Fund, the majority of the spending is for people, so 87% of the M&O fund spending is for salaries and benefits. The Classroom Site Fund, which is where the district's revenues from the state's 0.6% sales tax from education, the Classroom Site Fund is accounted for on page 3. Last year, we spent $6.9 million total from the Classroom Site Fund, and that's entirely for teacher pay, both a portion of base salary and performance pay. Over several years, we've used Classroom Site Fund revenues as part of a strategy to increase teacher pay in the district, and the percentage of teacher-based salaries paid from this fund went up from 8.7% in the 2019-20 school year to 16% of teacher-based salaries in the 23-24 school year, and that's where we still are now in the current year and where we were in the 24-25 school year. Essentially, we've ramped up spending from that fund to support teacher salaries, and now we're at the point where every year all of the revenue that comes in is going out toward teacher performance pay and base salary. So last year this fund took in $6.9 million and we spent $6.9 million from this fund. Our unrestricted capital fund activity is detailed on page 4 along with a few of our other capital funds. Some highlights here: our unrestricted capital fund balance declined this year compared to last year, and that's tied to some of the things that we're doing for our long-term capital needs and major capital projects. So that balance would have been a bit over $25 million last year, and the main reason for the decline is the large land purchase that we made in December, acquiring the school number 11 site located northeast of 63rd Avenue and South Mountain Avenue. We're likely to continue to use some of this fund balance for capital projects over the next 2 years, in particular the new transportation building here at the Levine Education Center. Also on page 4, you'll see our bond building fund, which I mentioned earlier ended last year with $13.3 million in remaining balance, and that will increase a bit this year with our bond sale later this month, and we'll also have a lot of spending from that fund this year for construction of LTA and the project at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy. This page is also where you'll see new school facilities spending in adjacent ways. There was not any spending from those two funds last year, but again, with the big capital projects this year, we'll see some spending there next year. Federal funds are accounted for on page 5 of the annual financial report, and last year our total spending from federal funds was $4.3 million. That was a decrease compared to the previous year when we spent $8.2 million, and that's entirely tied to the federal pandemic relief or ESSER funds phasing out after the 23-24 school year. So if we looked at 2 years back in the 23-24 school year, all of our federal fund spending, excluding those ESSER grants, we spent about $4.6 million. Last year we spent $4.3, and so we're really back to our historical level without the additional federal funding that was for the pandemic. One other thing to highlight on this page: of the $4.3 million that we spent in federal funds last year, $3 million came from Title I and IDEA. And that's important because if you've seen headlines about the federal government shutdown and uncertainty about how long that might last, those two grant programs, Title I and IDEA, have been said to be distributed even during a federal government shutdown. So that's more than 75% of our federal funds, and we would at least know that that portion is not affected by any kind of shutdown. Talking about the federal government shutdown and different uncertainty that we manage as a district, I'm happy to report that our financial reserves remain very strong. The district strives to maintain a fund balance reserve of between 20% and 30% of total operating expenditures. At the end of last year, our unassigned fund balance totaled $18.8 million, or 25% of operating expenditures. And we also had reserves in other funds that might be somewhat restricted to their use, but that still provide financial stability to the district, of over $21 million. In total, that's a reserve of over 50% of our annual revenues or annual operating expenditures, and that's a very strong level. So we will spend down some of those reserves for capital projects over the next few years, but continue to maintain a really healthy balance And we received some very good news yesterday. We received back our bond rating for the bond sale later this month and learned that we'd be upgraded to a AAA rating for the bonds that'll be sold this month. That's the highest bond rating that Moody's, the rating agency, assigns. And a large part of their rationale is our stable finances and strong financial reserves. We're not as big as some other districts. We don't have as much property wealth as some other districts, but we more than offset that with strong reserve levels and stable finances. Also, want to give a lot of credit to the entire business team. During last year, we again received 2 financial reporting awards. These awards were given during last school year for reporting during the previous year. We received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. And we also received the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Association of School Business Officials International. And we intend to apply for those awards again with the data that's in the audit this year. That'll be on the board agenda in February. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions about our annual financial report.
Okay. Oh, no questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and so now we need a motion to approve the annual financial report for 2025.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So, board, we have a hallway you could call our business hallway. And it starts with Charlie's office on your right, but as you walk back, you will encounter the entire business team. And what seems like a routine presentation is so easy to make because of the expertise of that team. In my hallway, you have our federal programs financiers and all the team that oversees that as well. But this is a painful presentation for some school districts, but it's so not painful in our district because of our outstanding business and federal projects team. So I'd like to give them another round of applause for their work.
Thank you. Okay, comments from the board. Anderson.
Well, it's hard to believe that we've just about finished our first quarter of school. So great work so far, and just make sure you just take the time to enjoy fall break and rest and put your feet up so we can get ready for the second quarter. So.
All right, thank you for being patient with the rearranging of the meeting tonight. I want to say thank you for keeping our kids safe and keeping our teachers and staff and community safe. Happy fall break. I hope you guys all get a chance to disconnect a little bit. And again, thank you to Charlie for keeping our district just financially responsible and having plans. And like Dr. Sprout said, it could be really, other districts are not as well off as we are. So we know that we have the best financial and business team in the state.
Thank you. I was also going to say I appreciate the way that we are responsible with our finances in both of your presentations today, and between the rating for our bonds as well as the fact that the community is consistently voting to approve those bonds and overrides, I think shows that professionals and the community members have a lot of trust in what your team is doing, and that goes from your team down to what they see in the school, because most of them don't know who our business team is, but they see our teachers, they see our administrators, and see our schools full of people that they can trust, and that builds our community. So I just really appreciate everything that's going on to build that trust, both from perception and technically when Moody's looks at the numbers for us. So I appreciate everything that all of you are doing, and have a great fall break.
Adjourn the meeting.
Yes, I know. Okay. All right, so then we're going to have future meeting, our next meeting is going to be on November 13th at 5:30, and we are now ready to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.